Welcome to the summit, presented to you by Harry Wizards Gaming. My name's Captain Cup. We are here with my co-host, the Grizz, joined by Smiley and TD and the Elf today. How's everybody doing?
Another glorious day.
Pretty good.
By a little fast.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wish everybody a happy Easter to date this recording day. Gonna kick it a little more nostalgic today. Talked a lot about new stuff, what was coming, what we were playing currently, but we've got some longtime Harry Wizard members with us here today. In fact, the original two that I started the Destiny community with into the Discord, randomly met them on a Facebook page, and the rest is history. Kind of along those lines, talk a little bit today about some of our favorite games, maybe some of the stuff that is crucial to our upbringing, some stuff that turned us into the gamers we are today, and maybe some stuff that we maybe even stuck away from because that wasn't who we were back then. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could go on and on, but I'm going to kick it off to Grizz and kind of just ask maybe what your, what was let's say the first game you could remember, and maybe not the most influential, but what was that game that you were, like, if you thought back as far as you have memories, what is that game?
I got probably two games off the top of my head. Super Smash Brothers. Still, the original N64 is still one of my favorite games to date. And probably Tekken, I think 3 was probably out right around like the time I was starting playing games. And man. And now I don't even play fighting games, and those are really what I kind of started with.
Well, and the funny thing for me, and I'm sure that we'll touch on with Elf and Smiley, is that is so new compared to what my thought process is. You know, like as far as like that's your startup. I guess I'll hop into mine because I'm sure that I'd like to hear a little bit more from Elf and Smiley after this. But the funniest thing for me about the earliest video games, and I'm sure that no one will be surprised that is Pokemon, is probably one of the most influential in my life. The first thing I can remember is when I was a kid, the NES and Super Nintendo. Maybe a little young for those two, but I remember my dad and my mom having those there, watching them play Mario. So not necessarily me playing, but kind of my dip into, oh man, this is cool. But I remember, this is going to be hilarious because this will sound terrible, but me and my cousin from Colorado, they were from Colorado in Sioux Falls here, and we were sitting in the back of like this cargo van that had seats in it, like back in the day rental, like had nothing but like a metal floor and chairs. And but we were cruising around Sioux Falls hitting like the stuff I've shown you guys, you know, like the historical district, the falls, and back then an even more historical downtown with places that were just super old that were still around then. And this is when I was a kid, like early to late 90s. And I remember my cousin sitting back there playing Pokemon Blue on a Game Boy the entire time. And I was sitting here like, if this was him, I was like, the whole time, begging to play, never let me play. And I understand why, you know what I mean? It's a game it's an RPG at its core of, if I screwed it up, it'd screw up his game. But yeah, I remember his mom, my aunt, being like, turn that off, you know, just the whole time, and wanting that Game Boy so bad. And I know I've told you the story about how I got my first Game Boy. I opened all the games at Christmas first. And my mom was like, oh, they didn't know you didn't have one, you know, letting me just dive bomb the whole time. I opened like 4 games. And I remember A Bug's Life being one that'll date that day. You know, that was the fresh new game. A couple other ones. I think Tetris was in there, one of the Zeldas that was on Game Boy Color, and then opening Pokemon Red and being like, I finally got it, but I don't have a Game Boy. You know what I mean? And just being let down. And then finally and it was totally a screw up. They didn't like they got out of order of what they were giving people for that Christmas. So I got all the games, and then the Game Boy got handed to me, and it was like what changed my life. I can almost attribute that my favorite color, which is Harry Wizard's blue, as everybody knows, that's what color my Game Boy was. I can almost tell you that's why that's my favorite color. You know what I mean? So, Smiley and Elf, tell me, let's talk, let's hear yours, and then maybe a little bit of history on your gaming history.
Yeah, I remember, like you were saying, watching people play like Duck Hunter. We had a Super Nintendo in the house, so. And there was a game on Nintendo 64, I can't remember the name of it. It was like Driving USA or something.
Cruising USA, man.
Cruising USA, yep.
Best soundtrack ever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, those are probably some of the furthest back. But as far as like games, the first game I really played was Pokemon Blue. Oh, yep. On the old original Game Boy.
Original.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Elf?
Well, I was probably 7 or 8, and my dad was a computer gamer growing up. So we had LAN parties of really old Star Wars games. And like it wasn't online, so it was just the two of us, and so it'd put us in a map and he would like chase me around in circles and put mines down to kill me and stuff and shoot each other with blasters and lightsabers and stuff. That game got me hooked.
Like the old Jedi. I know what you're talking about. I wish I knew what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of like the specific name of it.
Yeah, like the old, like the very first 3D stuff, like the Wolfenstein era.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I know what you're talking about though. Like, super basic, right? Gray floor, gray wall, orange sky.
People with, like square heads and like robotic looking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I played that with my dad, and then he was always playing like Doom.
Oh yeah.
Original Doom.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, but then once I got a little bit older, I learned about Game Boys, and I saved up. I was not allowed to have a Game Boy unless I paid for it. So I did summer work and all these things. I could get money, and I got a clear, like a see-through purple Game Boy Advance, and I was so excited. Don't remember any of the games I got for it, but I had the Game Boy.
My nerdiness will tell you that she's talking about the Atomic Blue or Atomic Purple. That's what they called it.
That's the same one I had.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I got it. I just had it. Somebody like gave it to me, and you started. See, shows that I am a little younger, because I started on Crystal.
Yeah. Yep.
That was the first Pokemon I started, and I remember being so heartbroken. I beat the Elite Four for the first time. I didn't have a battery back. I didn't have it kept the batteries in. Got so excited, and I shook it. Batteries popped out. No save. I didn't beat the Elite Four.
No.
I was heartbroken.
I mean
oh my god.
That is something that every one of us has experienced, right? Nostalgic wise, not hitting that save point or not hitting save before that crucial moment. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've fought different parts of Pokemon games that I was like, crap, I forgot to save, and Game Boy died, or the batteries went bad. And that's the other thing that people take for granted now is warnings that your batteries are going bad. Because if you remember on the Game Boy, it had a red power light, and that was like it for if you had power or not, and it would just shut off. And I'll never forget being like, or hoping your parents had batteries, and if they didn't,
oh my god, that run for batteries.
Yep, I remember grabbing the batteries out the back, flipping them over just to get that extra ounce of juice out. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Well, let's move into maybe the significance of video games in your life. What, all the way from conception to this, and I'll try and make it brief because mine is rather interesting. But I'll start off so you guys kind of understand what I'm asking for, I guess. For example, I remember huge bonding moments in my life over video games. One of the earlier ones being like where my love for Zelda comes from. Sitting in front of a TV with my cousin Luke. He's my oldest cousin. Like the idol for me, right, when I was younger. And back to it. Had a quick technical difficulty there, but kind of going back to what I was saying, the love for Zelda and kind of a pinnacle in my childhood, my cousin being like my hero. You know, he's 5 years older than me. Everybody has that, like, you know, oh, they're gotta be cooler than me, right? So we would sit in front of a TV and play Ocarina of Time, and by we I mean him, and me going, how the hell is he doing this? And hours, I mean, front to back of that game I'd watch him play. But he had this save file in the third slot that was right before the Ganon fight at the very end. And I would play that Ganon fight over and over and over and over again. And I would I mean, like, I could close my eyes and fight Ganon at that point, you know? And then kind of fast forward a few years, we get to the kind of the Game Boy SP and the GameCube era. And my mom worked at Toys R Us, and I had the hookup, dude. Because that's when, back then, they delivered systems and games and stuff like that months before they came out. I mean, like, months. I'm talking sealed consoles, sealed discs before they went on the floor, and there was this, like, locked room. And my mom was pretty tight with the gaming manager that had the keys and all that to that. She could get in it, but anyway, I remember getting the Game Boy SP, the GameCube, the flip-up screen for the GameCube, like, all early, and playing every game that ever you could think of. Any game that ever came out for any system I had it because of that. Like, games I didn't know about, she'd come home with and just be like, I got you another one, I got you another. I mean, it was like daily, right? But one that I can thoroughly remember, you know, this being such a before the, like, not necessarily before the launch of the internet, but before you went on the internet for everything, because it took 25 minutes to just log on to the internet, right? I remember getting Halo 2 weeks early, and coming to school that Monday and being like, I got Halo 2. They're like, there's no way. And I'd be like, come to my house, you know, like, let me show you. And I had buddies that lived, like, down the street, you know, that I went to school with. I remember having a friend being like, you're a liar, there's no way, you know, nobody believed you back then, because you can't get games early, how the hell could you do that? Comes over and I start up, you know, and just the face of the two buddies that came over and saw that I had it early was like, and then fast forward a little bit more, and my mom's still there getting Halo 3 like 2 days early, and everybody being like, yo, we ditched high school to play Halo 3 all day. Like, my mom was like, I'm gonna get you this game early, but you're going to school. And so I went to school, and we went to my buddy's parents' apartment, and we played Halo 3 all day, like a day early. But the best part is that's when, like, internet connectivity started happening. So we logged in, and it was like something happened. Like, we tried to log in, we had to disconnect from the internet, you know, because, like, it was like, alert, you have the game, we can't let you play it. But you could still disconnect from the internet and play games back then. But that's kind of and then obviously as we go into the future, you know, playing Destiny, having good times with some of the buddies from in town, and then obviously moving into meeting you guys, you know, that's kind of that. I mean, significant events, right? Just bam, just things changing for me and meeting people through video games. But yeah, that's my life significance in this, and, you know, obviously competing in Pokemon, and obviously hours and hours and hours of diving into stuff for me, becoming nationally ranked in speedrunning for some of the Zelda stuff. There's that, and those aren't huge for me. Like, they were huge moments in the time, but not necessarily, like, I didn't gain life experience from it. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, that's me. So anybody else that feels the readiness, let's hear it.
I'll start then. So similar to you with your cousin, mine was who everybody met last week, Psycho. My older brother, 5 years older, same thing. He was already, you know, at an age where he was playing video games, and he played them a lot better than I did. I mean, I remember playing this is like, to this day, I'll never forget it. We played Tekken, and my dad had made us hamburgers. This is like one of the, I'll never let this down from him either, is Dad made us hamburgers. We're fighting. He's king. I'm Armor King. He's got a hamburger in one hand doing this, eating, perfects me. And I'm like, I'm sitting here playing with both. I got both hands on the controller. I'm trying my hardest.
Oh.
And he just wipes the floor with me. I never touched it. And I'm like, so then, like, I guess, like, subconsciously, my goal at gaming always became, I want to be better than him. Because I look up to him more than anything in this world. Always have. And, like, we played Madden all the time. That's when he always still played Madden. So, like, I remember, like, I think up to, like, Madden 07, he'd wipe the floor with me. It didn't matter. And then, you know, I just kept progressively. I was getting older. He was getting older. So he was, you know, he had more interest in girls. No time for playing video games all the time, you know. That's all I had the time for, you know. So within, like, a year or two, it was like, oh no, the table's turned now, dog. It's over with. Any game, run it up. I got you. And that's been one of the most significant things is I think, like, I always, for a long time, had something to chase. I always wanted to chase him to be better than him. And then, like, once I got better, it was just like, you know, I got better into the age of online multiplayer gaming. And it's like, well, I want to compete. I don't want to lose. I want to win. And I have a very competitive nature. Losing drives me nuts. I get upset. And, like, I'm not a single player gamer either. I can't do that. I can't just sit there by myself. It's hard for me. So multiplayer gaming is always, that's my significance is multiplayer gaming. And I've gone on to meet people that I've called, like, they're not just my friends. I treat them like family, like Cedar, who you guys have talked to and met. I'd known him for 10 years now. I didn't meet him till last summer. And he lived 2 hours away from me. We'd never met, though. And it's just, you know, you the stigma is, like, you know, childish and stuff. Like, no, you can meet significant people in your life that are, like, they do so much more for you than people that you really know and that are close to. So, I mean, that's my significance is, like,
Yeah.
You create some bonds that are, you feel unbreakable.
Community.
Well, and
Yeah,
like,
and it's an escape. At least for me, that's a huge significance.
Right.
It's my escape from everyday life.
well, I mean, like, to touch on that as well, I mean, I've confided in these, you know, Elf and Smiley specifically throughout the years. You know, by the way, which was 3 years in March, which we never, I don't even think we thought about, but
Crazy.
March was year 3. Like, that was 3 total years. But I mean, not to butt in, but, like, you know, to bring in that significance of multiplayer and the people that you meet and hear, and this is kind of that situation, you know, to touch on when I was let go from my job, and this was that escape from those kind of scarier evenings that I did have. I mean, if I didn't have these people, you know, because it was really awkward for the people that are friends with me from here because they worked there. You know what I mean? Most of my friends worked there. So I'm just like, I can't really, you know, I can't talk that hot shit and, you know, and about that employer, you know, and all that stuff. But no, 100%, you know, the best friends I have, and I think everybody would agree, and the family that we've created
Right.
is significant. In the family that we continue to grow, the people that we bring in and things like that. So
Here in that community, don't not show up to SuperCon. You won't stop
Yep.
hearing about it for a year.
especially when it's free. But anyway, if you had a good excuse, I would have gave it to you, but you don't.
I had just moved into my house.
Yeah, well, then you didn't have much going on. But anyway, Elf and Smiley, I'm assuming, being that you two live in the same house, people might not understand that you are married. You're kind of a package deal in this community. If we didn't have one of you, we wouldn't have the other. I'm assuming you're going to have to play some piggyback off each other, so I'll let you take it away on that.
Gaming piggyback?
Well,
Destiny's about it. Yeah, I started off with mostly single player RPGs like Pokemon for sure, diehard Pokemon, and then I was really big into the Final Fantasy series like 7 and 8 and 10. I skipped 9. And I played Halo, of course, all the Halos, and had Halo 2 LAN parties back in the day at some of my friends' houses, and Halo 3 did a bunch of tournaments and stuff when it came out, and when ODST came out, I don't know if y'all remember that one. Good times.
Tell them about your box.
I have a box.
Your box of games.
Oh yeah, I've got like those big like totes, the big like plastic totes, just like filled to the top with like 360 games and PS2 games, like anything you could think of.
Whenever they would go to other people's houses, they'd take that box of games to everybody's houses.
I think we all had somebody that brought something, you know.
Yeah.
We used to have buddies that came over. They'd not to butt in. They'd come over, bring the N64. They'd bring over, you know, Pokemon Stadium, your Mario Karts, your Super Smash and stuff. GoldenEye.
Yeah.
GoldenEye always got serious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is what hey, you can see the advancements in technologies. Is now kids will they play split screen. They'll put cardboard up to separate it. Like we never would have thought of that when we were young. Like, dude, how dumb were we? That's so easy. I'll tell you what, I was a screen peeking son of a bitch.
I was too.
I think everybody was.
Those arguments were the best. You look at my screen now, I'm like, even though it's physically like impossible for you not to have seen something.
Yeah.
Man, I will say, those nights like when we were all young and in school, like having your buddies come over, you're having a sleepover, and you literally like. This is when we thought it was cool to pull all-nighters.
Oh, yeah.
Pull an all-nighter just to beat a game. Like,
Dude, I remember seeing the sun creep up, like, out the window. Of like my mom's house, like my room was in the basement, so I had like the window up at the top of the ceiling toward where the sun would come up, and I remember seeing that light and being like,
oh crap.
oh shit, we gotta go. Like my mom was the person that she never like enforced like a bedtime, but man, I remember the first time she came down after we had been up, and we like, look, you know, we probably look like crackheads when she opened the door, and we're like, she's like, have you guys slept? And we're like, yeah, totally. You know.
So when I was probably, I might have been like 3rd grade or so, we just got in the PlayStation 2, and ESPN 2K5 was the NFL game. NFL 2K5, still one of like probably my favorite NFL game ever made. This is before our parents got strict about it. I'd play it all night. We didn't have memory cards. So like I could never shut it off. I didn't want to lose my saves and stuff because I'd edited rosters and stuff, had a stacked team. I would like play all night. And I'm like 8, 9 years old. I'm playing all night. And I started falling asleep in school, and like teachers would call my parents.
Oh no.
And I ruined this for Psycho as well. Is after that started happening, they enforced no video games during the week at all.
Oh
No.
no.
Like we couldn't play till after school Friday, and it was all my fault. It was all me. But
They should have got you a memory card.
no, they were. The bad thing was we always had more than one system. We always had a backup. So if we got in trouble, they'd take one and be like, "Oh well, here you go. This thing was plugged in." Like they used to do that on their PlayStation 1. They'd take it, or we knew where it was hidden. We'd play it till they like, all right, they're gonna be home soon. Go put it back. We were bad about that stuff. I was bad. Like I remember, I got into high school. I think got home way before Mom did. I'm playing games. She comes in the door, gets home early. I'm sitting there playing like Madden 09 ranked matches. Oh crap! Turn it off. She's yelling and screaming. You know, you got the crappy little mic that's just one ear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh yeah, I was bad. I threw so much just of my time growing up in video games. Because I grew up more in the technology age than, not by much, but a little bit more than you guys. So that was a lot of me growing up was definitely video games.
What did you say, whippersnapper?
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have to say that, Smiley. The gray in your beard said enough.
Oh, Elf, what about you? Let's talk about your history.
Oh, let's see. So, interesting fact is I was homeschooled. So, I had a lot of free time for video games. And they didn't put restrictions on us. As long as I got my schoolwork done, I could do whatever I wanted. So, um, we grew up with a ColecoVision, and I would play Frogger. Mostly, I played Frogger. That was the one game I was like really addicted to when I was a kid. And then I remember when I was like, I think 12 or 13, my dad got us the Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And it was the lime green one when it's got the matching Donkey Kong game and the book with the walkthrough. And I played that constantly. And that was actually one of the first consoles that my dad would actually play with us besides the computer games. But we would actually all, as a family, sit down and all play it. Got 4 controllers. Then my next door neighbors, I would have to wait for them to get home from school. But then we would go over to one of their house, and they had a PlayStation 2, and we played Time Splitters. And then that was a super fun game. And I was awful at it, but I had so much fun playing in it. And we were such dorky little kids where we would go outside when we got kicked outside and stop playing the games. We'd play Time Splitters outside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we were playing those, so we played some Final Fantasy and Neverwinter Nights or something like that. And that was a lot of what we did for like high school or middle school-ish age. And then once I hit high school, oh my gosh, I got my own PlayStation 2 and I got Ghost Recon. And I was toxic AF. And
What?
grew up listening to my dad play like Battlefield and for a long time. And dude, I learned how to shit talk from my dad. Except for
awesome.
when he thinks we're not listening, he shit talks. But when we're listening, he says blankety blank blank blank.
Yeah.
He fills in his own words. So I played Ghost Recon and learned how to shit talk, and yeah,
That's
that was super fun. And it translates to today where playing Call of Duty and
that we're like trying to teach her to be toxic again. You know, you talking about playing games outside brought up a fantastic video game memory for me, and if for whoever knows me knows, you know, you could consider me a little shit probably back then. So I used to go from one of the elementary schools I went to at the time with my cousins, and we'd walk to their house, and they lived in like a townhouse kind of section, if you will. It's, you know, a big community of townhouses, garages in the middle, a playground, whatever. And my aunt at the time, you know, it was getting closer to when my mom was going to be showing up this day or whatever, so she didn't want me to be at a friend's house specifically. She'd rather be able to see us, you know, if my mom showed up and she'd be like, hey, Matt, your mom's here, blah, blah, blah. So she told me this day that I couldn't go to this friend of mine's and play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the N64, the Super Nintendo at the time. She said, no, you can't go in and play. Specifically, you cannot go in to their house and play. That was the wording. Okay. So we went to his front door, and he turned his entertainment center to the front door and pulled the Super Nintendo out as far as he could so I could get to the controller and still be outside the door. And he left the door open, and we played that way. He was inside, I was outside. She was so mad at me that day because she's like, that's not what I meant. I meant you need to stay around here so we can find you when your mom gets here. But yeah, I'm literally sitting, if you think of like a townhouse, like an older 90s townhouse build, I'm like under the overhang, the door's open, and I'm sitting on the concrete playing games with him because he turned everything toward the door.
Oh, that's great.
And then I found out that he couldn't get it back. So his parents came home or back from where they were at. I think his older brother was upstairs, but he had the whole fucking entertainment stand curtained. So they came in and like, oh yeah. But awesome, like totally awesome memory. Like in the you saying the whole like playing video games outside, I was like, "Dong!" Remember when your dumbass did that as a kid? But yeah, I'll never forget. That was hilarious. Like just the typical kid little shit that like came up with a way, found a loophole in your rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, could you not see me doing that? I mean, like, let's be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'll find any loophole.
Correct. But kind of piggybacking onto that, something that Grizz said made me think about this. Bring in your old cartridge games, your memory cards, you know, man, I can remember having friends come over and they didn't bring their memory card or they didn't bring their cartridge of Pokemon Stadium and being like, well, night's ruined. We don't have all the characters. We're screwed. We can't do anything. I like that made me just have the take back for a second. It was just, that's just funny.
All right, you remember this? This is a little bit more futuristic, but it's the same concept. Is when 360 was out, you wanted to play a game that you owned and your buddy did it. You took your fucking hard drive from your 360 with you. You're like, well, hey. He's like, oh, I don't got that. Don't worry, I got my hard drive with me.
Yeah.
I got it. Oh, yeah.
You know, funny, and this brings up another game. I don't know if anybody played this, but also a huge video game. Like, again, another game that I could play with my eyes closed, and the music from it is huge for me, is Sonic Adventure Battle 2. Or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, where Shadow came from. The first game Shadow's in, that whole origin. If nobody's played that game, please go play it. Find well, I'm not going to endorse an emulator, but you can play it, if you know what I mean. It's on Xbox. You can purchase it there, but it's a love-hate game, right? Because Sonic games were fucking terrible for like a decade. Like, Adventure 1 was terrible. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, probably one of my favorite Sonic games ever. And then like everything after that for like 9 years, just bad. Everybody knows this. I don't know if you've ever looked up videos of Sonic 06 or any of that, but Sonic got real bad for a while until this most recent one, called Frontiers, that everybody's super all about. And I think, but about Sonic again, pretty big series in my life, but that game specifically was the first like 3D Sonic for me, where you were like behind Sonic or behind Shadow running through these things. We had this really big obsession in that game. You could raise what we call them KOs because we were children and can't pronounce words correctly, but they were called chows. CHAO, I believe. But what you could do in that game is when you would, if you remember in the old Sonics, when you would kill an enemy, like an animal would pop out and it would run off. In that game, the animals would pop out of the enemies in different boxes and stuff, and you could collect them. And they would have like a bar on the bottom. You could collect so many, and they would give the chow features from that animal and stats, basically. So like attack, speed, endurance, happiness, but it would imbue them with like a part of that animal. Like, so if you put a gorilla on one, it would grow like gorilla arms or get like a gorilla haired head or something. And super cool because you could race them, you could fight them. So it was like dog fighting back in the day. But it was kind of neat because the more you worked with the chow as a certain character, it would start to take the attributes from your character. So like if you were Shadow, it would start to grow the hedgehog hair and turn black or red, and stuff like that. You could feed it different fruits and things to change the colors. You could get eggs for them by mating them and all this crazy shit, and they would evolve eventually to like an adolescent and an adult form, and then they would die actually too. They would get old and die. But there was different worlds, like little they were like pens, but there were these huge landscapes that you'd have. There was a heaven, there was a neutral, and then there was hell, or the evil one. And if you grew chows in those different places too, they would take those attributes from there. So like the ones up in the higher, the heaven looking one would take more of the Sonic and Tails and Knuckles attributes on, and if you put them down below, they would take on the evil stuff. So they would get like if you're in the evil, they'd get like sharp teeth looking mouths, and their eyes would turn red, and they would become darker in color. So like we spent hours going back into like you because you could play the levels over again and just collecting stuff because like one of the best animals you could get was a phoenix. So it'd get like, you know, the phoenix wings on their back, and it would have like the red feather. I mean, it was intense, man. Like we would spend, I mean, I would run. There's a couple levels in that game that I can like literally. I have done it with my eyes closed. Like I have done this because we'd run them over and over and over again because we knew where this animal was, where this thing was, and then we could get. But there was also the fact that if you wanted to get to the Chow Garden in the story mode, to get there in between so you could drop the stuff off you've gained while because you had to play through the whole story to get to unlock the levels that you could go back and play. Well, you'd have to get this key that was hidden somewhere in the game, which it was in the same place every time in every level, and you'd have to get the key so then it would teleport you straight there so you could drop your stuff off. But I mean, I'm telling you, when we're talking memory cards, that was you came with it with your memory card, with your chows on it. You know, you've been working all week to get these things ready, and you go into the race and you cheer, like, because you could like cheer them on and stuff, and it was like betting on like horse racing when you did the races and stuff, and I mean, it was like you're like, all right, man, mine's gonna win, and they did. It was all computer, you know, they'd run, they'd like. When they were like babies, they would goof up and like fall over because they couldn't walk very well. And then when they got older, they'd like start sprinting. It was cool. I mean, it was super fun. And that's just another one of those, that specific game in the series was huge. And I remember playing the other ones in the series and being like, ugh, like, what did they do? This is really bad. But yeah, I just remember that being like the golden light of Sonic era for me. Like,
the only Sonic game I can remember playing is like the Shadows game.
mm-hmm.
The only one I can ever.
Yeah, when it got fucking guns and shit, like,
yeah,
I'm like, what the hell?
But to go back to like, you brought up memories of like, and this is like early games I played. Like, remember like first memories was like playing Crash, dude. Playing with Crash, with Psycho, and my sister too, and Tomb Raider. My sister was like so good at Tomb Raider for some reason. It was the only thing she ever played, but Tomb Raider was her shit. And like I remember like that was one of those games that it's like I could just sit there. I couldn't play it. I wouldn't have understood it anyways. But I was like, it was one of those things that I could just sit there and watch them play, and watching them play Crash. And I remember buying Crash a few years ago when they did the remastered trilogy. I bought it and tried to play it, and I'm like, how did I play this game as a kid? Because this shit is hard. I was like, this is not an easy game for me. Like, I remember it, and I'm like, this is rough.
Ugh. Did you ever play Xenosaga?
Yes.
What is that?
Dude.
Yes.
I loved that game for some reason, and I never could get very far in it because I had such a hard time beating things. It was so hard, but I was addicted to it.
I also remember like my favorite old school style game, 100% Galaga. I remember my grandma one year got me the little handheld game, the little handheld one. Dude, always was on that. Always.
Dude, was it Galaga that the ship would come down, take yours, and you would shoot it down and it would upgrade your ship?
Yo.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember the first time that son of a bitch came and got me, and I'm like, no, 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 and then I shot it, got that double blaster, homie.
Oh yeah.
That was the one thing I loved at the end of when you do like the little story mode in the new Smash Brothers. That's how they roll the credits and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Dude.
Trying to just hit that.
Oh, dude, being somebody that loves that game, I saw that for the first time and I'm like, oh, this is freaking amazing. I love this. I was just like, oh, I got perfect score every time I did it.
I remember being with my buddies when that first started being a thing and just being there like, who's gonna, just trying to get them all, and they're like, you're not gonna get them, you're gonna miss one.
Right. I love that game.
You know,
playing the handheld version.
You know, and I was just thinking of another group that it always, not a group, I should say, another series that always like flees my mind, but is a big impact is Resident Evil. Like, and if you want to talk about Resident Evil, you can't leave out Silent Hill. Not that they're from the same maker, but if you want to talk original horror, like the games that first put the fear in people's hearts of video games, they're so big. I remember, I mean, man, I just remember being terrified of now going back and playing them. What were we afraid of? And they're walking like 8 feet, in like 25 minutes. But I just remember being like that first overwhelmed feeling in Resident Evil, like oh my God, there's 3 of them, and it takes 30 minutes to kill one because that camera angle sucks, but that's how it is. To piggyback on that, Silent Hill, if you've never played, 1 or 2, it's kind of interesting. Like, the horror dynamics that we experience today are purely hardware-driven horror dynamics. It was hardware limitations that created some of the stuff we're so scared of today. Prime example is Silent Hill, the fog of Silent Hill. If you think of, Grizz, in newer games, you've seen this, where you can only see so far and stuff will run out of the fog at you. They did that in Silent Hill.
Right.
Well, because they couldn't render as much of the world, so they put fog up so that as you walked, it would render the world in front of you. But they were like, yeah, it's not very scary to have Legos fall in front of you, so let's put fog in because we can do that. And that, it's just crazy to think of that, like, old school stuff that was just specifically because they couldn't do stuff with the hardware they had, is now like integral in horror and in any game. I mean, in the earlier Marios, or not Marios, but in the earlier Mario Karts, the track moves, right? If you don't realize that and you think back about it, your car only has like 2 animations, but it's the track moving underneath you is what's happening. You're stable, and that track moves because of hardware limitations. They couldn't make your car move. It was your console was rendering the track moving underneath your car and going around. You were like a pin dropped, and it would just slide underneath you. Right. Specifically, a really good example is if you go to go to your Super Nintendo, look up footage of that, and have that in your mind, and you'll be like, oh, those sons of bitches. That's how they did it.
I will say the only time before the stuff we play now that gave me a real, like, scare growing up was the first Gears of War. So I remember...
You child.
Dude, no. No, it wasn't the characters. It was a specific moment. It was a Psycho and I playing middle of the night on the weekend, playing the campaign together. And it's when they first introduced the Berserker monster. And they just kind of introduced it, don't really do much. And you're walking through this building. We're in this pitch black room, nothing. And this thing just charges through a wall. Loud as I get scared because of sudden moves. That gets me every time. I can watch a happy movie. If a pot drops randomly, it'll get me. But it's this thing just comes bursting through the wall. Boom, and both of us got both of us terrified. We were like, oh! And we were both like, we better not wake mom and dad. Those were definitely times, like, looking back, that I would cherish, is like playing that co-op game with, like, my brother, for me, because I love that split screen.
Heck yeah. Yeah, like one thing I want to touch on is, like, just talking with everybody here, like, how big video games changed our lives. Like, we're talking about significance in video gaming, our first games, how we interacted, what we did, friends we had. Like, I just think it's crazy to me that this thing looked at by, a large, vast community of people as childish, like, how big that impacts us. Like, man, I could tell you right now, I have bawled my eyes out at a video game. I could tell you which game. You ever heard of the game called Lost Odyssey?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. When he gets to his daughter and she dies, like, damn, I gotta pause the game. I gotta go to a counselor. I can't handle this.
I could give you. Mine was right back to what I was just talking about. Gears of War 3, because the first 3 follow such an amazing story. That is still to this day the only game I will play a campaign. I will play a campaign before I even touch a multiplayer. Gears of War 3, you go through this whole story, you've grown attached to certain characters, and they go on and sacrifice. Well, he sacrificed himself for the good of everybody else in this third one, and I'm sitting here like he was my favorite character, and I'm like sitting here like almost like I want to cry, like and I'm like, I gotta stop playing for a minute. This is not good.
Let's hear that from you two. What's the jaw dropper or the tear jerker for you?
Oh wow!
Oh, come on.
I know another one too.
I don't think I ever had a game that like made me cry or.
We watched Cade die together. That didn't break your heart?
I was gonna say, and I wasn't even like a hunter, and I'm not even like the biggest Destiny fan. Cade's death was very sad to me as well, just because of the NPCs. He was the best.
Dude, Holiday.
That got me too.
Spoiler alert.
That was Riley was there when I was playing it, watching Holiday just get engulfed by the flames, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, hopefully they bring her back as a guardian. That'd be a good plot twist.
Oh man, I will never forget that. I don't even like Lost Odyssey wasn't like the biggest game in my life, but I just remember it was a like 4-disc Xbox game. Like you get to like so you play, spoiler alert for this game that no one cares about. There's a cult following, but there's like 8 or 9 people that give a shit. But
2008.
yeah, you you play as this like basically this dude. At the start of it, you're like fighting in this war and you have no memory of why you're doing it, and long story short, you figure out you have a daughter and you have this calling just like every other RPG, and you go on this like long ass first disc adventure to get to your daughter, and you find her. She's got like 2 kids that are your grandkids. By the way, there's like a huge time skip in between too. Like he should be way older than he is basically, and you get to her and you find out she's like dying, and at the end she just dies and disappears, like withers into dust if I remember right. She like gets taken by the whatever, and I'm just like like I've been playing this for 20 hours and you just killed her. I can't deal with this. And it was just bad. Like it was so bad. And yeah, it's one of those times like I'm sitting in my room and this is like a single player game. I'm living at home and I'm down in my room just fucking sobbing. And I'm just like, gotta quit crying. Somebody walks in here, they're gonna think you're fucking crazy. Crying over a video game. What's wrong with you? But oh, dude, yeah. In general, like there is good storytellers out in this world, and
you say when games have like captivating,
interactive story.
Yeah, it'll get you.
Well, fuck a motherfucker that says crying at video games is stupid, because I watch plenty of people see people die in Titanic, watch Armageddon, and cry like a bitch. Okay.
I can say like as I've gotten older, I've gotten more in touch with that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I see that stuff and it's just like it chokes me up, and I'm like,
yeah,
and I can do that stuff in real life, and it's like that wouldn't even faze me.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That shit happened to me today. I'm on TikTok listening to Vegeta say shit to Goku, like about crying in front of by myself. I'm like, you are soft as baby shit. What is wrong with you?
No, dude. It's for me, stuff with dogs, stuff with dogs and soldiers coming home. That'll get me every time. Every time. I'm like, shit.
No, like I was watching spoilers for Dragon Ball Super, but when Goku like is falling in Ultra Instinct.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh yeah, and Vegeta's like, I trusted you. I gave blah blah blah. Like, do it now. And it's like, and you're like, oh, he's gonna win. You know, it's just, I haven't even like, this is gonna be shitty. TikTok has spoiled me in Dragon Ball Super. I haven't watched, like, I don't even really need to watch the damn series all the way through now because I've seen so much like dumb shit from TikTok. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I think as I've aged, like, same, like, stuff gets me, man. And I'm like, I remember like 17-year-old me, I'm like a damn brick. Like, there is no emotions in here. They don't exist. Leave me alone. I'm going to cry by myself, and my goddamn Xbox controller is going to be soaked with my tears, but no one's ever going to find out.
One of those other nostalgic games I had, which was, it's crazy because I didn't watch the show, was Dragon Ball. I didn't watch Dragon Ball until I was an adult. I used to stay with my grandparents every summer. I know, shake your heads at me, it's a shame. I really agree. After watching it, it's a shame I didn't watch it until I was an adult. But it was, my grandma had taken me to GameStop. Let me pick out a game for like $20, pre-owned game, you know, back then. And I got Budokai 2.
The Budokais are so good.
Had never played the games. I knew about the series, didn't watch it, because I just didn't. And, dude, I remember, like, this, I just stayed there, and, like, I went home, put it in my system. I don't even remember what system it was. I think it was Xbox 360 probably at the time. And I was just, or probably PlayStation 2. And I remember playing, dude, and just getting my ass kicked by Boo and Cell. It was just brutal. And I was just like, oh, this is so rough. Like, it's so cool. And that's what became, like, I think, like, one of the main bad guys was Kid Boo at the time. But I became, like, obsessed with Kid Boo. He was so sweet.
That would have been Budokai 3 then.
No,
I think Kid Boo is in
I think 2. I think
2
it's
as
2.
well.
I thought the big kicker for Budokai 3 was that
Maybe.
that Super Saiyan 3 was in it, and that would have had to have been.
This was probably, like, 07.
That might be right.
But it was one of the Budokais.
Man,
That was like my first introduction to their games, and then I never played another one of games till the first Xenoverse. But Xenoverse 2 was also at the same time, and I bought them in like the bundle pack. And I played like a little bit of Xenoverse 1, and then played 2, and I was like, I can't go back and play the first one. This campaign.
oh,
This
dude,
is
dude,
there's so much drastic difference.
Dude, along those lines, I remember having Budokai 2 at my house when Budokai 3 came out, and going to my buddy's house playing Budokai 3, and then having to go home and play Budokai 2. And I'm like, man, I hate this game.
Growing up, when your friend had the newer game, and you're like, I gotta go home and play this crappy game. I don't own this.
Well, like, and by the way, to piggyback on that, Tenkaichi 4, dog, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna fight you in that. I know that.
Speaking of that, if we want to talk how you were talking about your brother being like your main goal to get him.
Yeah.
I remember we were playing Budokai Tenkaichi 3 when it was on the Wii. And we played on the Wii, so you, like, I don't know if you played it on the Wii, but you had to actually, like, do the attacks. Like, Final Flash, you had to, like, do that to actually, because you'd have normal damage, and you could boost the damage if you did the movement. So, like, Mike, my brother, you know, he would have to, I think because he played Kid Gohan every time. I don't care how many teams he made. It was like Kid Gohan in costume too, and like Kid Gohan with a haircut. Like, it was always Teen Gohan. I should say Teen Gohan.
Super Saiyan Teen Gohan.
So, like, you know, and I'd run like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Like, you'd actually have to take the thing to do like Gallic Gun and turn your hand back and throw it and like Kamehameha it, and like, you know, Spirit Bomb was up and then down, Final Flash was out and then together. Like, just super fun. Like, I mean, you'd see me and Mike, like, I'd almost punch him at times. Like, we're like, Kamehameha, you're like, ugh! Just like sitting next to each other, just like throwing hands. You'd be done with a match, like, but I remember,
That might just worked out.
well, I remember this one time I played like 3 characters I'd never touched, right? Because like fighting games, anybody can admit, you know, you start to learn movesets and like how to do the combos and stuff. And he gets so pissed off because when I play Gogeta, or go Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and when he fights, he doesn't throw hands. He'll like punch, and then he crosses his arms and just kicks. So the whole time he's just like super, and that would make my brother so mad because I was talking shit and so was my character, just like hands crossed, just kicking the shit out of him.
That's just pure Vegeta at that point.
Oh yeah, well, Goku's happy-go-lucky cockiness with Vegeta's ego. You know what I mean, like 100%. But I remember I switched characters, and my brother beat the dog shit out of me. And I tell you right now, to this day, when you guys meet, because I'm gonna have him come around for SuperCon, he should be around. I want somebody to say something about like I'll have to bring it up in conversation, but he'll literally look at you and say, "Hey, what about that Teen Gohan? No, big dog." Like he'll look at me like he still talks that hot shit to this day, but like he beat me once 10 years ago and hasn't touched me since in anything. And
hey, look, Psycho will still bring up that Tekken moment, okay? And he knows to this day he can come get it any day he wants. I will say, as we got older, everybody had their main. If you played a fighting game, everybody had their main. We stopped using main because we're like, bro, like no. But once you play past the sticks, if you got people over, and you get on that win streak. Once that win streak gets to a certain number, you're like, all right, dude, you're getting off this throne. Let me pull out the main, and then it's like, all right, let's go. We're pulling out mains.
So let's talk about mains. Did everyone here play Super Smash Brothers?
Absolutely.
Okay. I thoroughly believe. No. See, that's what I'm about to say. I'm going to say I can almost guarantee you that I could tell what kind of person you are by your main in Super Smash Brothers. You're going to say it, but I'm going to give you each one guess to guess who my main is.
Link.
Bingo. I main Link. Every time.
I was going to say Link or Pikachu. That was it.
Which Link? Kid Link? Or...
No, it's base Link. And I always would have switched the skin to the Fierce Deity skin.
All right,
every time.
I'll give you a guess on who do you think mine is then?
Yours? Ugh. You know, that would be tough for me to pick for you. I want to say Samus.
Bingo.
Feels like a...
Absolutely. Samus has always been my favorite. I loved Samus growing up. 100% Samus was my character. That is so shocking because we've never even spoke about that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just that's
but now it's actually a Pokemon, and you can obviously guess what it is.
Lucario.
Yeah, Lucario or
Yeah, but Lucario, Samus, and Ganondorf are pretty similar, and Mewtwo. Mewtwo and Lucario are mirror image.
What's the damn?
They both got the what? Oh, Incineroar.
Yeah, I like his moveset in the new Super Smash a lot. Actually, I had a lot of fun with them.
Smiley is a.
I feel like a Ness low key though.
No. I see Smiley as like a DK, like Donkey Kong or Bowser or something.
Oh no! Hold on, he's gonna be.
I played two characters evenly.
Star Fox?
Star Fox and Bowser were the two characters I played.
So you shook your head when I said Bowser, ass.
I stop shaking. DK first.
Psycho was the Star Fox guy as well.
Yeah, so Star Fox, Falco. In the Japanese or in one of the newer ones, didn't Wolf come in too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, Elf is gonna be somebody cute and cuddly.
Or completely catch us off guard.
No.
You know how badly I want to say Ice Climbers for some reason?
Right.
I don't know why. Ice Climbers... Who?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yoshi.
I told you Kirby or Yoshi.
Like eating people and pooping them out and then hitting their eggs.
That's why I thought it was Kirby
You know,
or Yoshi.
all I'm going to say is, low-key, if you see me play Kirby, it's toxic time because I am eating you and jumping off the edge and spitting you out and then flying back up. Like, if we're playing and I pick Kirby, don't get close to me in the edge because I am just... See ya.
I really can't believe you guessed Samus. Just like, no other guess came out. You just Samus like that. Like Samus isn't obscure, but
yeah,
that roster.
I'm gonna tell you, we used to play hard. Like me and Dom. Everybody knows Dom. He would play Sheik, which is a pretty good counter to Link, just with speed and stuff. And I swear to God, you'd be at a party or whatever we're playing at, or a tournament, and me and Dom, it looked like a damn Dragon Ball Z fight. Like everybody else is fighting underneath, there's like we're just going ham on each other, and we'd always last. And it would be, I remember we were in a tournament and it was we were playing four matches, so stock 4, last one alive moves on, and me and Dom still have all four of our lives. Everybody else has been if they got killed by us, they just got in the way. Like if they flew off the map because I hit them, it was because I was going for Dom, and they happened to jump in the way and save Dom's life. But I remember we went on for like a 20-minute match. At one point, I don't remember what we were doing, but I remember the other two had died, and we were still just and everybody's like, "Hurry up! Like, we're trying to play again." And like after, you could only last so long in a Smash match. I mean, you're gonna get to the 200% damage, and somebody's gonna look at you, and you're gonna fly out.
The only type of person in Smash I will never play against is a Ness. If you play main Ness, dude, I will put the controller down. I'm not messing with you because I know what you are. You are trying hard as hell. And I don't want that problem. I'm casual about it.
Yeah. The home run bat, man. It's over.
You pull out Ness, dude.
Dude, watching those people do the Smash tournament at SuperCon last year, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like fighting under the map and shit, and like coming back around.
Watching any professional fighting game tournament is just, I can't deal with it because it's like, dude, I could never in my wildest dreams do anything like what you guys do.
It's insane. But yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. We're getting probably to the point of maybe wrapping it up. It's getting late. Need to close these doors at some point. What I want to do is a quick fire round of, let's pick a character from a game, let's say pre Xbox 360. Your favorite character, and give maybe one clue or maybe the title of the specific game. And I want it to be franchise, or like for me, I'm probably going to give you a franchise, but if it's more niche or a harder character, but I don't necessarily want it to be. Let's just pick a character, say a franchise, and who's it going to be?
How about we do this, because all of us are pretty big on this one, is do a random Pokemon out of the original 151.
Actually, this is good. That's a great idea. Let's do a franchise for each person. Tell us a franchise. We'll pick a character from that franchise and offer one clue if you need it, and see how well we know each other. So I'll take Pokemon, being that, let's say the original 151, and each one of us can ask a yes or no question about said Pokemon. How about that?
That sounds good.
So I will pick. I have one, and go ahead.
Finally, you want to start?
Is it pink?
No.
Nope, there goes Mew.
Is it a cute Pokemon?
Subjective.
I'm gonna say no.
My version of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't say anybody would go, "That's cute," as the first thing they saw it.
Is it a grass type?
It is not. And I'll give you one clue, and I will say the ground.
Diglett.
No.
In Gen 1.
Grizz was close.
Oh, Doug Trio?
Correct. Doug Trio was mine in my head. I tried to come up with something obscure. I knew you ain't. I wasn't picking Mew.
Right. Dude, the first Pokemon that had popped in my head, like if I was gonna think about it, was definitely like Weezing for some reason. Like, who's gonna guess like Weezing?
Yeah, no, that's right. Who wants to go? Grizz, you go next.
Oh, what franchise do I want to do?
No, we're doing 4 Pokemon first. Yeah.
Okay, 4 Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay, I will go. Let's see. All right, I got one. This is actually a favorite of mine. Is 2.
Okay.
That you probably you wouldn't know it, but it definitely is one of mine of the 151.
Does it stand on 2 legs?
It does.
Is it fire type?
No.
Is it psychic type.
No.
Now give us one clue.
There's two of them that are very similar.
Yeah, this is exactly what I thought. Is it Hitmonchan?
It is. Yeah.
I literally went, does it say on two legs? And I was told it was like ask a question that made sense, but I literally if I should have just said it when I was like literally before I even asked you a question, I was like Hitmonchan.
Yeah, no, I loved Hitmonchan. Hitmonlee was not my guy.
Gotcha. Let's do Smiley next. I think he's gonna be he's gonna pick a interesting one.
I might. Let me have a second.
He's gonna look through the 151 on who he
I
wants to
especially
do.
can't remember it's been
obscure.
so long. Okay, I got it.
Okay, is it water type?
No.
Is it fighting type?
No.
Does it have wings?
No.
What's your clue?
It's a mythical creature in Japanese lore and legends that is portrayed in many nerd things.
Ninetales.
Yep.
Nice.
It was the first holo Pokemon card I ever pulled out of a pack. The OG
wow.
Jungle Ninetales.
All right,
I still have it.
You gotta have to throw us off. It can't be something cute.
Oh, I got one.
Okay. I'll go. Does it have hands? Like actual hands?
No, no.
Okay.
Is it bipedal?
Yes.
I have a guess.
Is it
I've
pink?
Yes.
Oh,
Is it Chansey?
yeah.
Is it
Huh?
Chansey or Nidoking?
No.
Well, if it's pink and it stands on two legs and it has maybe
Oh.
hands.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
My first thought was definitely Nidoking because he's like pink.
Yeah,
Kinda
for sure.
pink.
I kind of thought maybe she throws like a Genghis Khan at us stuff. Because
All
that's
right.
cute. It
What's your franchise idea, Chris?
man. Because I've mainly talked about fighting games tonight, so I'm gonna go with the fighting game.
Hopefully.
Mortal
Oh, okay.
Mortal
Okay.
Kombat franchise. That's like the most popular of all, really. If we're gonna talk about it,
Okay.
Which one?
Mortal,
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows
Oh.
the characters in Mortal Kombat.
Do you though?
I know one.
I got mine. So I got mine, and I'll go first. So, what do you guess?
Is it a ninja?
Originally, it was yes.
Okay. I think I already know.
Oh. I don't even know what questions to ask.
Colors, powers,
Do they all have face coverings?
they don't all.
Does it have a face covering?
With Cub's question, colors is actually a big thing because the ninjas originally all just had their own color was kind of their thing.
Don't worry, Elf. I got you on this, I think.
Does it have any metal parts on their body?
Nope.
Hmm.
Cub's gonna guess like one of the most obscure ones, but he's like my favorite one.
Well, the problem is your answer to my question narrows it down some. Like,
For like
not.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
But that's our decent odds. Elf's over here googling.
No, I'm not.
Ask if it has skin.
Does it have skin?
Yeah. That eliminates like one.
Two, technically.
What's my hint? He's one of the bad guys. One of the
Joy. Oh,
Some of them are good.
yeah, I know. The problem is I can't remember if this character had. I'm pretty sure he was named two different things that I want to guess at one point. It's not. Fuck. Is it Noob Saibot?
He's my absolute favorite, but no.
Because the reason I say that is
But he's
because.
technically Sub-Zero, yes.
Well, no, not just that, but also Smoke and him merged.
No?
Because they were Noob Smoke at one point. One of the games they were Noob Smoke.
Well, no, Noob's his own thing, though. And his name comes from the two creators' last names just backwards.
Right. But if you go into, I can't remember which game, but Noob Saibot, his name was Noob Smoke at one point, and he had
He's
both.
also the original Sub-Zero, too.
Yeah. It's not Cyrax, is it? You said he had skin.
There is one game that Cyrax is still human. But...
Yeah.
Oh, I'll give you a hint because this narrows it down to two. Then, if it's of just the ninja types,
Yeah.
he's red.
He's red? Oh, fuck. I can't think of the name.
There's two of them though.
I know. Just having a brain fart now. Damn it. God, I can't think of the name. I can see him though. What's the name? I'm never gonna guess. Yeah, that's damn it.
Ermac was originally looked like them, but Sector also was part of
Yeah.
them, and he's red.
Yes. That's why I asked if he had skin, because I was like, I can eliminate those two.
Yep.
Damn it.
Because later on, he's just like a magic user and shit. And he's
Yeah.
cute as hell now.
Damn it. Elf, you do yours since you said you only know one.
Oh, are we all doing?
Yeah, we might as well.
I don't remember the guy's name. Hold on, let me Google his
Raiden.
name.
Yeah. Is it Raiden? No.
Johnny Cage.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. Okay. I got
Okay.
Oh, I got it then.
it. What?
It's Jax.
No.
Ask a yes or no question.
Yes or no question.
That is a yes or no question.
Is he human? Or
Yes.
are they human? Okay.
Yes.
Are they female?
No.
Ooh.
Do they use a weapon?
Yes. Well, yes. They can use a weapon.
What's your clue?
Blue.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sub-Zero's my favorite character. Noob's my favorite to fight with, and Ermac's like close second.
That's the only one I can ever remember.
Sub-Zero's the go.
gotcha. I've got one.
Hmm.
Is it a male?
Yes.
Is he fat?
No.
Ooh. That's my right shoe.
Does he wear like armor?
No.
What's your clue?
Elder God.
That believes Raiden.
You're right.
Yeah. Raiden's one of the elder gods. This is more my speed.
Yeah, now you're getting it.
I know Mortal Kombat. Smiley, what you got for us?
You got one?
I got. Yep.
Is it a robot?
No.
Got two out of the way. Well,
Are
three.
they female?
Huh?
Are they female?
No.
Okay.
Are they yellow?
No.
So that eliminates Scorpion.
Yeah, so that eliminates elves, I guess.
What's your clue? I got
Uh,
here.
their skin is white. I think. Typically,
Punchy.
I don't know if it's white in every game, but the main game, yes,
Fun.
punchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Elf going, I didn't know any of that.
Okay, that's punchy. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Elf,
Like one.
you pick a
Also a good
franchise.
character though.
Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Oh shoot.
You got to
I
be
don't
up
know
first.
those very well.
Don't ask if they're a monkey or a gorilla, because that's obvious. Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Can I go first? I only know like a couple characters.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I got one.
Is your monkey big, like bulky?
No.
Is your monkey Diddy Kong?
Yeah. 'Cause I know like Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong. That's what I got for you.
That's what I was waiting for. I got one. Now, I'm going to tell you I know the Donkey Kong lore, so asking me if it's a big or a small monkey might not help you.
Is your monkey old?
No.
Monkey small.
No.
That doesn't help me at all.
Not small or old.
No.
Yeah.
That our clues so far. Is it a male monkey?
No.
Aha. Is it?
Oh, is it Candy?
No.
Is it Teeny Kong?
Do you want my clue before you ask?
Yeah.
Yes.
Crown.
That
Oh,
doesn't help.
Pauline?
Nope.
Was Peach ever in Diddy Kong?
No.
Or in Donkey Kong? Did she ever like make a crossover event?
Oh, the girl. You said it was a female, right?
No, I said it's not a. I didn't say anything about a female, but it's not a female.
Yeah.
I asked if it was male, and you said no.
Did you say that? I thought you said is it
Yeah.
female?
Uh,
Oh, this character is a male. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Oh, shit.
Donkey Kong?
It's not
No.
Donkey Kong.
No, it's
Oh.
The wheels are turning.
King
K. Rool.
K. Rool. That's it. Yeah.
He's an
I knew it was
alligator.
a K.
Oh,
Yep.
maybe I should have asked if your character actually a monkey.
Yeah, you guys all assumed that I was thinking of a monkey. And I'm like, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. Who's up?
Smiley.
Can it be any character that has ever appeared in a Donkey Kong game?
I'm gonna say if it's from the Donkey Kong franchise. If there is a crossover event that does not count.
I don't know. I don't know crap about Donkey Kong. I don't
there's
know if
like-
he's ever... 1,000 monkeys. Yes, I know. All right. Hold on. I got one. Okay, I got one. No, I don't. Okay, I got one.
Does your character have blonde hair?
No.
If you're looking at a picture, you'd be able to tell, I think.
Well, it's not a complete picture, but I don't think it's.
Character a monkey.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Is it male?
Yes.
Is it Chunk? Oh, what's your clue?
They wear a tie, I think.
Is it Chunky Kong?
No.
Is it Donkey Kong?
No, it's
Not
One-
quite.
Not quite. Fuck off.
Oh, is it Wrinkly Kong?
It's baby Donkey Kong.
It's baby Donkey Kong.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm googling to see what the character names here. That's where
Oh.
I came up with Chunky Kong.
You got one?
Mhm.
Does your character have a beard?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, guys.
Your character a monkey?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your character Cranky Kong?
Yes. Still stuck. Be harder than that.
Did you see Elle's face when I said, "Does your character have a beard?" She's like, "Shit."
All right, Smiley. Finish us out with your game.
All right. Let's do Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Oh shoot.
I mean, if you've ever watched a fucking Disney movie, you have a character you can think of. Just saying. Who wants to start us off? Okay. I'll go first.
Your character male.
No.
Does your character wear pants?
No.
Hmm.
Is your character a human?
No.
Oh,
Shit.
I don't know if that does anything good for us.
I don't even know what female
That
character.
narrows it down to like what, 3?
Well, there's a lot of characters in Kingdom Hearts. Really, he should have just said Disney and Kingdom Hearts. So, I'll give you my clue. Under the sea.
Ariel.
You're correct.
Oh.
All right, I got mine now.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. By the way, I liked Elf's question. Does your character wear pants?
There's a lot of them that don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Is your character from a Final Fantasy game?
No.
Is your character a male?
Yep.
Does your character wear pants?
Actually, no.
Your clue?
From an older Disney movie.
Winnie the Pooh.
No.
Lion King?
Nope.
Simba, I mean.
An older one, you said?
Oh, yeah.
Rue.
Mm-mm.
Mickey.
No. Heck no.
Well, it's definitely not a mouse by that reaction. I don't know. That's Kingdom Hearts for you. There's so many from an older Disney movie. Doesn't wear pants.
I forgot that there were so
Well,
many.
he's
Disney
not the main character in his Disney movie.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Give us another clue then.
Donald Duck.
He,
Goofy?
I will give you it's a
He
he,
wears pants.
but he is small in stature.
Piglet.
No. Smaller.
Smaller.
Minuscule. Almost.
Is he one of the rats?
Is it Jiminy Cricket?
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
that's a good one.
That was
I
good.
had to Google it. I didn't know he was in it.
Hot seat, Elf.
Let's do.
This character list is absurd, though. I'm just gonna
Okay.
let you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Is your character female?
No.
Are they in a Disney movie?
Yes.
Oh,
Great. We've narrowed it down to 100,000 from 200,000.
Is it pre 2000 or post 2000?
3.
Okay. What's your clue?
Think of one that doesn't give everything away. I don't know. Doesn't wear clothes.
Jesus.
Simba.
Yeah.
It's like you subliminally put that in her head.
yep.
I was gonna say rar.
All right. I left Smiley for last because I'm sure this is going to be a pain in the ass.
Probably.
I'll give you an upfront hint.
He
Okay.
loves Kingdom Hearts.
It's a Final Fantasy character.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Does
I had a
your
feeling it was
does your
gonna
character have gray hair?
No, it's not Sephiroth.
Does your character have a sword?
Yeah, you could.
No.
Yes.
Is it a sword or is it not a sword? Because
Oh,
a keyblade is not a sword.
It's a sword, but it's more than a sword, but it's not a keyblade.
Okay.
That does nothing for me though. 'Cause I don't
It
know
probably
if
did a
I-
lot for Cup, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Does he wear like one of those long cape jackets? Or is it just like pants and shirt?
Typically just like pants and a shirt.
Is it
He
Cloud?
hasn't. I'll give you another. No, I'll give you another hint. In Kingdom Hearts, he goes by a code name, but in his Final Fantasy game, he goes by a word that's
associated with the ocean.
Aqua. Is it Aqua?
Tara?
And it's Final Fantasy VIII.
Of course it's fucking Final Fantasy VIII.
My favorite. It was my
Yeah.
first.
Oh.
His code name is the same as the main character from Resident Evil 4.
Leon.
Yep.
Heyo.
Squall is his name in Final
Oh,
Fantasy
yeah. You son of a bitch.
I wouldn't have got there. The only reason I got it is because of Final Fantasy, or because of Resident Evil. I just
Well-
know Leon's the main character there.
We're getting to that time. Does anybody else have anything they want to say or bring up before we get to shutting the doors for the evening?
No, I think I'm good here.
Awesome. Well, to kick it out of here, thank you so much, TD and the Elf and Smiley, for coming to hang out with me and Grizz on episode 2 of the Summit Podcast. From all of us here at Harry Wizards Gaming, I want to say thank you for coming on up, making your way to the top to come and hang out with us for a while. And as we shut the doors, please be careful on your way down. Join us back next week for the next episode. Peace out, everybody, and have a good one.
Stay frosty.
Bye.